Finding your personal style is an amazing and a fun journey. Going to different stores, checking out different mood boards, finding what works for you, and then eventually going online or going into a store and pulling the trigger on a piece that you've been lusting after for many months or years. And then there are some days where you buy that piece, you put it on, you've worn it a few different times, and it just isn't for you. Your style changes, or you just overall thought you liked something that you didn't, and now you've got something that you regret. Welcome to my channel. My name is James and I like clothes and well-made things. And today I want to talk to you about some clothes over the last year or so that I've purchased and just weren't for me. My Dior Tokyo Birkenstocks. This was a piece that when the runway show came out, I saw them and I just needed to have them. I added myself to the subscribe list and I just knew that that was the piece that I wanted. When it came time to pull the trigger on the piece, I grabbed them instantly and I loved them. I was wearing them and I enjoyed them, but something was always off. As I was kind of figuring out myself and my style, I found myself leaning out of designer and wanting something that was a little bit more conspicuous, and these were just not that. They felt wider than traditional Birkenstocks. The size that I got was the same size that I had on my traditional ones that I had. Something did not add up, and I ended up getting rid of them just because that amount of money, it was nearly $1,300 for these essentially sandals, and I just wasn't in love with them. And I ended up selling them probably about 3 or 4 months later. You know, the Dior Birkenstocks are something that just, it didn't resonate with me from a personal level, and I ended up getting rid of them. So the next thing on this list is going to be something that might be a little bit more surprising for you, and that is my Alden hand-sewn leisure loafers. This was a shoe that, again, I had lusted after. I even saved up towards these so I knew I would get them. And then when I got them, I don't think it was necessarily from the shoe itself, but there were just so many issues with the shoe. The shoes were 2 different sizes, and I do understand that I've got a little bit of a different size foot. One was extremely tight and the other one was almost pretty loose. I get it that if you have 2 different shoe sizes, you can kind of feel that, but I have shell cordovan shoes. I have all these other things. So this wasn't the issue. And then there were a number of other just kind of things that like really turned me off on it. And it just wasn't a shoe for me. I decided to just wash my hands with it. Just a shoe that I'm really kind of upset about that I didn't look at more. I'm not blaming anybody for that. I should have examined it and I should have kept them on my feet a little bit longer. I really like, and I still like, and I still want to wear them, but I've already gotten rid of them. They just weren't for me. And this was the Engineered Garments aircrew pant. For those of you who've seen, I did a video on them, me wearing them a couple months ago, or maybe even a year ago, and they were great. They were cool, but I am not tall. So the issue with these is I don't like overtly baggy pants. I know that's the style right now. I like a classic 50s straight leg, and these were just wide with a huge drop crotch. I can do wide, I can't do a drop crotch. I'm 5'8", and when I have a large drop crotch, it just makes me look like I've got so much torso and such little legs. I love the color. I bought them in black and I bought them in green, and they just weren't for me. They didn't work out aesthetically how I like them, just because they made me look so short. As you're getting into your fashion journey, you start to understand what your proportions are and what you like about what things, and you find things that fit your body but maybe might be a little over the edge as far as like your personal style. Overall, it turned into something that just wasn't my personal style, and I thought it was. Definitely something that if I could go back in time, I would have probably kept them on a little bit longer and worn them in the store and not have pulled the trigger on something like that, or at least not bought 2 of them. We're going back into designers. Don't necessarily regret because of the history and the significance of it, but it just was expensive and it's something that I never wear anymore, and that's gonna be my LV trainers. I think I would have liked them more if they weren't green. So they're green with a black bottom, just not something that is my personal style. I don't love the way that they look. I think if I got the white with the green, I would wear them more because it would just be a little bit more fun. I will say a big portion of the reason why I bought them isn't because of the shoe itself, but because of the significance of the person who designed it. So, you know, this was around when Virgil Abloh had passed away, and I wanted something to commemorate him. So again, I'm not like upset about it, but I think I would have gotten something like the glasses, or something a bit smaller, like a bag or something like that, to remember him. I'm happy that I have them, but I wouldn't have bought them again. It's not something I wear anymore, and it's not something that I'm going to wear anymore. So overall, I just probably would have saved the money, bought something a little less expensive. My black linen double-breasted suit. Over the last couple of years, I've been wearing suits. I wear suits for work almost every single day, and I ended up last year getting a black double-breasted linen suit, and I thought it was my favorite suit ever, and it just doesn't fit me all that well. The pants are amazing. I wear the pants often, and I love the pants. I love how they fit. I love the look of them. The jacket itself is a bit longer. I tried the 38, and the 38 was too tight, and then the 40 feels a little bit big. I know it's probably the fit of how it's supposed to fit, but it's just not for me. And then I've also realized about myself from a personal level is I like a little bit more of a traditional suit, and then I like more of like a linen cotton feel because it's not gonna wrinkle as much. I would have just gotten the pants and done like a mix match thing with that. These are things that you can only learn them if you do them. So I wish I had gone a different route and maybe have gone with a less expensive suit before I went into like an all black suit. I'm a big fan of Veilance. Like Arc'teryx in general, I think is such a cool brand, but Veilance itself, I just love the no, you know, it's got no branding on it. I love the technical, meaning like the menswear, and just overall everything about their clothing is just so cool. However, over the last two pieces that I've got have been kind of interesting. I just recently purchased, this is probably like 6 or so months ago, I've already sold it, was the like chambray denim jacket. It was like a green jacket, and on paper I loved it. But the issue is all their stuff is made for like European cuts, and I am not a tall person. So the European cuts were thin and long. I needed to get in a large to fit my shoulder, but then it was way too long. So I ended up buying it in the medium because it fit my length really well, but it was so tight in the shoulders that it would like climb up on me. Again, this goes back into, you can still like a product and you can still like think it's a great thing, but your fit in your body type just doesn't work for it. And that was something that over the last probably year or so, I've really understood my body type and what works for me. The Veilance like chambray jacket, and then I ended up getting a sphere jacket, which is an awesome jacket. It's the same kind of cut as the chambray jacket. It is obviously a softer shell, so it is a little bit more wearable because it'll stretch, where the denim one was Japanese denim and it was like tight. So I will probably potentially keep this one, but it is too long for me, and it's just such a bummer to wear sometimes because I want it to fit more like a traditional worker's jacket, and because it's that European fit, it's like a medium, but it's for somebody that's like 5'10" or 6 foot, and I am not 5'10" or 6 foot, so it is long, and I've got some hips, so it just rides up weird, and it's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. And that's a jacket that I could, if I could go back in time, I probably would have understood my measurements better, just like I do now, and I would have probably passed on. So the next three are going to be pieces that I don't know if I regret yet. I bought them near the end of the winter, and they're like winter things, or I haven't given them enough time to really understand how I feel about them. And the first one is the Viberg hiker. It's a bit on the more bulbous side. It's made to be worn with like big socks and things of that nature. I got this near like the end of the season, so I haven't had like a winter to wear them. That's why I'm waiting at least another winter to see whether they're for me or not. Aesthetically, I love them. I think they're so great. I do, however, wish I probably went with the Guidi 19s as opposed to the Vibergs. They're really cool boots. They're made extremely well. I have nothing to say about Viberg that is bad from like a quality standpoint. And they don't necessarily fit my personal style as of right now. I do want to see how they work in the winter when I'm wearing more kind of heavier weights and jackets and things like that. My big thing with my personal style sometimes is I like heritage stuff, but I also like streetwear stuff. And I feel weird sometimes when I'm wearing too much heritage because I feel like I'm wearing a costume. You start to look like an iron worker from like the 1950s. Like that's just not my vibe. And the Vibergs are still kind of on the fence, but I think there's something that I'm gonna like. But as of right now, I probably would have gone with like a trench boot or like a boondocker or something along those lines. So these are a pair of pants that I got in New York, I think almost a year, maybe a year and a half ago. And these are my left field. They're like a beige Cones Mill, like painter's pant. Aesthetically, I love them. I think they're a great looking pant. I love the dead stock Cones Mill. I love the color of it, but the fit is a little bit too skinny for me. I am about a 33 waist, but my legs are a little bit big. These are tight in my like quads and my thighs. Just for me, like the cut is not exactly what I would love. I would have probably gone with a different cut. I have 2 pairs of left field pants other than these ones, and I love them. The chinos are the best chinos I've ever had, but these pants, they're not designed for my body, and I'm keeping them just because I like them aesthetically, and I am losing weight. So I've got them here, but I don't know whether that's gonna be a pant that I keep for quite a while, or I hope it loosens up as I wear it a little bit more. I do wanna continue to see how they feel and they look. At first I was really excited about them, and then they just kind of whittled away, and now I just find myself wearing them less and less. My vintage like Vietnam commando boots that I put the lug sole on, they're just a little too high for me. They are a little too bulbous. Again, I want to give them through a winter and just give them like a full like year and a half of winter to just kind of understand like what I like and what I don't like. I don't necessarily dislike them, it's just I have different alternatives that I want to use instead. So last on the list is going to be a pair of pants. When I was in Austin, I got to go to the Imogene and Willie store, and the people in there were amazing. The styles were great. I really had a great experience. I hem my pants within like 20 minutes. The pants that I got were I believe they're called the Oscar. They're more like a Western fitting straight leg, and they're just a little tight in the leg, and they're a little tight in the stomach. I know that I need to break them in. So that's why I'm giving them a winter. They're like a 15 ounce or like a high 14 point something, and I just need to wear them in. Sometimes it takes wearing clothes for a couple days or a couple years to really see if I like it. I have shoes that I'm like, I hated these, and then all of a sudden they're my go-tos. Like, things evolve and things change. You go back to stuff as well. But my Imogene and Willie Oscar pants, I'm just not 100% sure. They're a little thicker than I like. They're also a little tighter than I'd like. I love the texture, and that's why I want to keep them. Those are my pants that I potentially will give up at some point or move away for something better. As you can tell, I'm still trying to figure out my fashion journey. There is no destination. I think it's just an evolution of who you are and what you go, and it's gonna continue to change. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be worried that you're not going to ever get to where you are. Styles change, people change, things change, your body shape will change. Everything will change. I know I just said that a lot, but don't be afraid to make mistakes and enjoy yourself, and just enjoy the journey, and you'll eventually get to a place that you feel is your kind of zone, and then you'll kind of evolve from there as well. Thank you for coming, everyone. Make sure you like and subscribe. I apologize if this was a long video. I'll see you next week. Thank you for coming. Goodbye.